Today I'm going to show you how to turn this £3 piece of timber into a project that sells for between £12 and £30. So the tools you're going to need are pretty basic. A drill and a screwdriver, electric or handheld, some kind of saw, either a pull saw, a normal saw, a chop saw or jigsaw, some finish, some wood glue, a square, sandpaper, a tape, and a couple of drill attachments, a countersink bit or a larger screwdriver and a hole saw, and I'll go into more detail about that later. What we're going to make today is a table riser or worktop riser. Straightforward build, 3 straight cuts, a couple of countersink holes in each leg and some screws and glue, and that is it. Okay, we're going to start by checking our square on the end of the wood, and that's close enough. Then we're going to come in 16 inches from that edge and make our mark. Use our square. Take our saw. Now this is obviously a lot easier with power tools. I'm going to do it mainly with hand tools today to show that anybody can make some extra money making wooden items. Now we're going to make our cut for our feet. All I'm going to do is take the width of the board, offer it up to the edge of the wood and make our mark on the inside. And then we're going to cut that the same way as we cut the main board. And then I'm going to do that again for the second foot. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. These cuts can be a little bit wonky. It's going to be a rustic looking piece anyway, and it's all going to be rounded over, so you can get away with a few imperfections. Again, this would be easier if the piece was clamped down. I'm trying to do it for those people that may not have any equipment at all yet other than the absolute basics. The next job is to sand these pieces and put a round over on them. If you've got a router, that's easy, but it can be done without. I'm going to take a piece of 80 grit sandpaper, put that over an old scrap piece of wood. If you need to, you can cut a piece off your other wood. And all we're going to do, I'm going to take one of the legs and I'm going to carefully sand down one of the edges. And you're going to get left with a piece like that. I'm going to do that again for the second leg and for the top, and I'm going to fast forward through that. Okay, so that's it. We've put our round over on. I'm going to do exactly the same now and just do the top and the underside with a 120 grit sandpaper. Again, I'm going to speed through this. So I've done the top side. I'm now going to do the underside. To protect the piece, I'm putting it on an old bit of polystyrene. And the final step is just to go over with a piece of much finer sandpaper, and this one is 320 grit. Okay, so that's all our bits sanded. They're nicely rounded over and each piece is fairly smooth. A few marks aren't going to matter. As I say, it's a rustic piece. So what we're going to do next is mark up for our feet. I am going to protect it still with the polystyrene. I've decided that this is going to be the underside. I prefer the look of that, and that's going to be the front, so it will be sitting like that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the leg, I'm going to offer it up to the edge, and then I'm just going to draw a mark along the underside. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to finish this before I attach the feet. I don't want the glue lines that may appear at the edge of my feet. So if I finish it first and then put that and offer it just over the edge of the line on the outside, you're not going to see the pencil mark and you're not going to have glue lines where you're not going to get any finish because the finish will not stick to the glue. So on to the finish. For this one, I'm just going to use Danish oil. I've done several other finishes, including natural oak, old English oak, and just a beeswax finish. I'll show examples of those at the end, and I'll link the products in the description below. Give the product a good shake, just to mix it all up. And I'm just going to apply it with an old rag. What's nice about Danish oil is it enhances the grain, protects the wood, but it doesn't change the colour of the wood too much at all. So as you can see, it still maintains that nice pale look. I'm going to let that dry for 10 minutes, then we'll apply a second coat. Once that's dry, we'll fit the feet. Okay, so time for the second coat on now. So let's add 2 nice coats, let that dry, and as I say, we'll fit the feet next. It does help if you remember to do the feet once you've done the top. So I'm just doing that quickly now. And they'll get a second coat as well, and I'll come back once that's all finished. So with our pieces all dry, I'm now going to mark up where I want the drill holes for the feet. So I'm going to come in 20 millimeters from the edge, just put a little mark, and I'm going to do that on all of the pieces. This doesn't have to be super accurate. You're looking for an approximate area placement. I'm just going to rough out the middle. Okay, with that all marked up, I'm going to drill our pilot holes. Just be careful of the surface underneath if it's one that you value. That's our pilot holes drilled and our countersinks so that the screw heads don't damage the worktop. With that done, we're now going to offer these just over the edge of our line and pilot hole into our main piece. Again, be careful not to go right the way through. Okay, so with the pilot holes and the countersink holes done, we're going to glue and screw this to the main piece. I thought I had 25mm screws, but I haven't. I've only got 30. There is a small chance that this might go all the way through. Now, if it damages the top of the surface, what I would do, and you can do this, is just cut a thin strip like the legs and then just glue that on the top, and that would hide that damage. This is a rustic piece and we can get away with that on here. Okay, so that's this project finished. You could varnish it if you wanted to, but the Danish oil will be more than sufficient for the purpose of this product. There are so many variations that you can do with this product. You could have different feet, you could use round feet, you could have the feet at different heights to allow for spices and things underneath and maybe ornaments on top. You could use different woods, so you get a different type of finish. You could actually use different finishes. I'm going to show you 3 at the end. Okay, so some of the different finishes. We have the Danish oil, we have English light oak by Colron, and then we've got natural oak by Everbuild, and these 3 have been beeswaxed as well. A couple of other features that I did was a round over piece on the underside of this one with round feet. I created the round feet using a hole saw, 30mm in diameter, and I just went in from both sides to reduce tear out. They were glued and screwed to the underside exactly the same as the rectangular feet. I mentioned before that these are selling for between £12 and £30. I've actually seen them as high as £50. Now, bear in mind, these cost about £1.50 to make, and I can batch out 6 of these in an hour. That's £90 profit an hour minus fees. You don't have to sell a lot to buy yourself that new router or a mitre saw. So why not start your woodworking business today? That wraps it up for today. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like and comment below. It really helps the channel. It doesn't cost anything. Thanks for watching. Until next time.